Today we're going to go through 3 different types of personal flotation devices and boats for your fly fishing pleasure. I'd like to go through 3 of them. And the first one is this, which is recognized as a float tube, or perhaps the name of belly boat suits the best. And the advantages of something like this type of flotation boat for your fishing is extremely light, probably less than 10 pounds, and you can carry it on your back very easily along with your fishing gear, especially if you're going to be going through a lot of woods, a long time to get to a lake, a walk-in lake of some sort. So it could be nice. The person will actually walk into the middle of the boat with their fins on and their waders. Now they'll be up to approximately their waist inside the boat and also in the water. So just keep in mind that when you use something like this, you are going to be on a pretty level playing field with the water itself. So your casts won't be as far, and you will be in the water. So early spring and let's say late fall, it can get kind of cold. You have pockets on the side that you can put your fishing gear into, as well as the back area. And this is what they call a stripping mat or stripping mesh, which you keep your fly line on as you're casting out, or if you bring the fish in, it'll support it. Another type of flotation device in the same category is this U-boat, which is essentially the same, except you don't step into it, you can walk back into it. It opens up from the back area or side, and you step into it, get inside, and you put this across. This is also safety on both sides, so that when you do put the mesh on, you're more or less caught inside, so you won't fall out, you won't slide through. So it's a safety device too. Second type is a hybrid, which we would call part pontoon and part flotation tube, which is actually quite nice because it is still very, very small. It is 5'6" in length, but it has a seat, and you're out of the water a little more. So you could be up to approximately knee height in the water. And that's kind of nice during the summer months when the water is warm and you can actually not wear waders. But spring and fall, waders would probably be advisable. Now this is nice. It weighs probably less than 30 pounds, so it's very portable. You can put it on your back, go through the woods into any walk-in lake. And it has, of course, pockets that you can put your gear into. And also it's very, very safe, very nice, and it travels reasonably fast in the water using fins to kick. Now, the belly boats and the flotation tubes, U-boat type, are very slow in the water, and no matter how hard you kick, you will be kind of stuck for speed. So just be aware that on certain days when the weather is a little choppy and windy. So just be very careful with these, but they can be a lot of fun. And they're very reasonably priced. This, on the other hand, is a much nicer deal because you can actually use it for both small time areas, small lakes. You could stick it in the back of a boat or a van, and it won't be a problem to go somewhere. You have a nice seat, and you have pockets that are all over the place here. So you'll have a lot of fun with this. Now the third type is a nice pontoon, a larger pontoon boat. Now these pontoons can be, this one here for instance is 7 feet long, so it fits very nicely in the back of a truck, a bed of a truck. And they can be 8 feet, they can be 9, 10, 12 feet, even longer. So the longer they are, the harder they are to fit in the boat. So these personal crafts can be quite nice to have. Now this one has a back here which you can store stuff, like let's say if you have food or if you want to drop an anchor from there. You can also rig up an small electric motor to these. There's a lot of different things you can do. And they also have fittings for oars. You can actually use this with either fins to propel yourself, if you're on a small lake, or if you're on a larger lake, you can use the oars to get yourself through faster. And they're very nice. They have very nice seats in them. And you can get in and out, again, with a stripping mat, as does the other smaller boat. Now, what I have this boat here rigged up is I've done a few little alterations where I can take an extra rod. An extra rod is nice to have in case you go to a lake that you may be staying out for a long time and you never know what the lake's going to offer. Especially if you have a broken rod that you'll like to have had a spare. So you can carry this one along very easily. It sits there, and it could be used as a trolling rod also as you're casting out. So a line could be in the water and you could be casting from your actual seat here. Another advantage is the fact that you have a spare rod in case you need one for, let's say this is a floating line on here. If you're using a sink line or sinking tip and you want to switch over real quickly, you don't have to switch to reels. You can just grab this line and this rod and you're set right away. Or if it's late at night, you've snapped off your fly, you can't see what you're doing, you can grab this one real quick and just continue on your fishing, especially if the fishing is hot. Another thing we have here is I've rigged up this little container which I put my fish finder on. So the fish finder will sit in here like so, and as I look back and sitting in my seat, I have my fish finder that I can view and see what's going on, see the depth of the lake, maybe chart off whereabouts the fish are kind of hanging around, what strata they're on the horizontal plane. So I have this on the side. I have my spare rod, which I could use for either trolling or just if I want to use a different type of line real quick. And I have my oars on the side here. So that is the three general types of flotation: the larger pontoon, the smaller pontoon float hybrid, and the reasonably priced and perhaps less versatile belly boat and U-boat models.